Hello and welcome back to .NET in Minutes. Today, I'm not breaking down a single concept. I'm telling a story. My story. From the first idea to a full production app. This is my full stack journey. Not the polished tutorial version, but the real path. The mistakes, the doubts, the small victories, and the lessons I wish someone had to told me earlier. So, grab a coffee and let's walk to what it really takes to turn an idea into a real, working product. The spark. Every project starts with a spark, a problem that keeps bugging you. For me, it started with a simple question. Why is this process still so slow? I wanted to build something that solved a real pain, not just another practice app. That's the first key lesson. Build what bothers you. If you care about the problem, you will care about the solution. It's what keeps you coding at 2 a.m. when things break. And trust me, they will break. Once I had the idea, it was time to pick the tools. And this part always tempts developers to overthink. Should I use .NET or Node.js? React or Angular? SQL or NoSQL? Here's the truth. It doesn't matter as much as you think. Choose what you can actually finish with. I picked .NET for the backend, React for the frontend, and MongoDB for flexibility. Not because they are trendy, but because I know they well enough to drive. Technology choices should serve your idea, not your ego. Designing and architecture. Once your tech stack is set, it's time to structure the beast. I started with a monolith setup. One API project, one frontend app, one database. Why? Because at the start you need speed, not complexity. People love to say microservices, but a project with one user doesn't need a distributed system. Start simple. You can always scale later. That's lesson number 2. Build small, iterate fast. Your future self will thank you. The first commit. The first commit is magical. You create your Git repo, push your first code, and suddenly it's real. But version control is more than saving your code. It's a habit of thinking clearly. Each commit should tell you a story. What did I change? Why did I do this? If you treat Git like a diary instead of dump, your project becomes a timeline of growth. Building the backend. My backend started small. A few endpoints, a test controller, a local database. The key is not to over-engineer early. You will be tempted to build everything perfect. I don't. Focus on core features. Authentication, CRUD operations, basic logging. Later you can add caching, auditing, and other fancy layers. I remember the first time my API responded with a 200 OK. I celebrate like I launched a rocket, because that's how every product starts, one small success at a time. Building the frontend. Frontend was where I really started to see life. The moment your backend talks to your UI, that's the magic moment. I built a small dashboard, a login screen, and a few forms. But here's another truth. UX matters more than you think. People forgive bugs, but they don't forgive bad design. Make your app easy, fast, and clean. I use React, Axios, and a few animations. Nothing too fancy, but it looked professional. And that was enough to make people care. Deployment and production. Development is fun. Deployment is humbling. My first production deploy failed 3 times. One time I forget to update the connection string. Another time I didn't add course settings. And once the logs filed up the entire server disk. But that's how you learn what production ready really means. Monitoring, logging, backup, scaling. That's where theory meets reality. The good news, once it's running, it feels amazing. seeing user actually click, log in and use what you built. That's the reward. So, what did I learn? Start small, big ideas die under too much planning. Choose tech you can finish with. Fancy stacks don't matter if you can ship. Ship fast, break things, fix them, repeat. Learn deployment early is not the end of the project. It's part of the journey. Build what you need, not what looks good on LinkedIn. That's how I went from idea to production. Not perfectly, but persistently. If you are watching this and you have an idea, start. Don't wait for perfect tools or a perfect plan. Start small, build, learn, and improve. Your first step won't be perfect, but it will be yours. And that's how every real developer begins their journey. Thanks for listening to .NET in Minutes. See you in the next episode, guys. Bye bye.